Hey everyone, welcome to this collection of classes called Feel Good Stretches. I wanted to start off these practices with a breathing practice called diaphragmatic breath. So let's lie down and we'll get into that, and I'll explain why it's useful as we get going. I'm going to put my head on a blanket just so that my head's a little more elevated than my chest. You can take a pillow, whatever you've got at home, and place your head on that. So meet me on the mat with your head resting comfortably on the prop. And you can plant your feet maybe a little bit wider than your hips and see if it feels okay for your knees to fall together. Let's take one hand on our upper chest, so just below your collarbones, and one hand on your abdomen, so your belly. You're welcome to close your eyes here and tune into your breathing. See if you can notice either one of your hands moving. Which hand is moving a little bit more? And if you can't feel that much movement, that's okay. Notice whatever you're feeling. So I'm going to ask you now to explore keeping your chest a little bit more still and breathing into your abdomen. So noticing if you can feel the rise and fall of your belly with your breath as you breathe in, filling your belly. And as you breathe out, emptying out your abdominal cavity. See if you can breathe like this for a few rounds, minimal movement in your top hand, and a little more movement in your bottom hand. And if this is challenging for you, that's okay. Do your best. If you can, breathe in and out of your nose. And if that's not accessible, that's fine. You can also do your best to slow your breath down just a little. Okay, so as you're doing this, I'm going to explain to you why this might be useful. So your diaphragm is a large dome-shaped muscle at the bottom of your ribs. And when you utilize this more for breathing, then you have this potential for activating your parasympathetic nervous system. And it's not that your parasympathetic nervous system isn't working. It could be, and it could be working very well. But if you encourage its activation during these slow, mindful, mellow practices, you have an opportunity to move into a place in your nervous system where you can heal, rest, digest, regenerate, and recalibrate. So you might get a sense of calm. So we know this now, that a calm body can make a calm mind. And this is something to explore. Again, if you're having difficulty with this, that's totally fine. Just showing up for yourself here and putting that little bit of effort in is huge. So let's take a few more breaths here, breathing into that hand at your abdomen. If you're noticing that there's a lot of movement in your chest, neck, and shoulders here, that's fine. You might be used to breathing with your secondary breathing muscles around your neck, shoulders, and chest. Do your best to soften your shoulders, get a little more gravity fed in your upper body, and notice that abdominal breathing, maybe a little bit more. Okay, so after your next exhale, check out how you feel. Scan tension in your body, maybe the quality of your thoughts. And let's roll over to one side. So when you're ready, meet me in a seat. I'm going to take that blanket that I was putting my head on and take it underneath my hips, just to elevate my hips a little bit here. And that helps me if my legs tend to fall asleep. So we're going to try that same breath exercise in a seat. So now we're working against gravity a little bit more, and it might be a little bit more challenging. But in this practice, we're going to be moving around a little bit, so useful to do it here. So let's take one hand to the chest, one hand to the belly, and see if you can relax your neck and shoulders any amount. Okay, feel free to close your eyes, or you can keep them open. And check in if you can get that bottom hand to move more than your top hand with your breath. Another tool you can use is slowing your breath down a little, even just a fraction, and that's also going to do that work of boosting your parasympathetic system. So let's try it out. Breathing into that bottom hand and breathing out. Yeah, and some nuance you can add to this is kind of actually breathing all the way around your abdomen. So instead of just at the front, can you feel any movement at the back, like at the back of your low ribs, into your low back? And for me, this has really supported back pain, because sometimes I can tend to clench through my low back muscles, and simply with the breath, you can try to send a little bit of breath to the back of your diaphragm, to the back of your lungs, and see if that can do a little bit of work to ease up tension in your mid and low back. So let's do a couple more breaths like this, exploring this, something that you can always come back to through these practices. And also, when you're sitting in a chair at your work desk, I always think about this breath like you're tapping into your inner pharmacy that you always have. So one more breath. Exhale everything. So good. Thanks for being here. I'm really looking forward to sharing these practices with you, and I'll see you in the next session. May you have peace.